Well, hello there, lovely. Welcome back to the show. I'm Jennifer. I'm so happy that you are here listening. How are you? And more importantly, how is your life going? How has everything been going so far in 2024? As of this recording, we are in January 2024 and it's almost over. Can you believe it? But I hope you are well. I hope you have been experiencing God's blessings in the new year. And by the way, how's your skin? How is your skin doing these days? We're in the dead of winter. We are in winter. So if you are dry or dehydrated, hopefully you've been following some of the things you've been learning about on the podcast. Have you stopped those daily super hot showers that completely dry out your skin? How about using a hydrating serum? Are you using a hydrating serum? Are you sealing with a good thick moisturizer, especially at night? Just really trying to retain and keep that moisture. I hope you've had a chance to listen to some of the episodes, or hopefully all the episodes, following the advice, because that's why I'm here. I want you to have clear and simple direction on what to do to help your skin look better and be healthier and just, have us all look beautiful, especially as we age. We want to age gracefully. We want to do it simply. We want to do it with God's grace. So that is why I'm here, girlfriend. And this episode, like the title suggested, you are going to be talking with me about a skincare trend that has been talked about for almost 10 years, and it usually gains steam, especially during the winter time when so many of us experience dry and dehydrated skin. So hopefully you've been following a lot of tips from the podcast. You're not doing hot showers all the time, further drying out your skin. You've added a hydrating serum to your routine. You know about your skin type, what skin type you are, you know about different skin conditions that we can experience that are sometimes self-inflicted, all that good stuff. So hopefully if you haven't, definitely catch up on a lot of the episodes thus far. But today we are going to be talking about a skincare trend called slugging. Slugging. Yes, the word slug, like garden pest, slug with an ing. It's a peculiar term for a skincare trend that actually isn't all that weird. I think the name is more weird than the actual practice of slugging. But what is slugging? Well, first and foremost, slugging was talked about, like I said, about 10 years ago on a skincare blog. I don't even really know where it originated. A lot of different people speculate as to where this term originated, but the actual practice of slugging is pretty old school. It involves taking a very, very thick occlusive moisturizer, and I'm talking like a Vaseline. We all know what Vaseline is, right? Pure petroleum jelly, white petroleum jelly, the hero ingredient ointment that you can use on babies' bums, you can use on cuts and bruises and scrapes and dry skin and chapped lips and all the above, right? So it involved taking a product like that, Vaseline, or a similar product would be like an Aquaphor that you would find in the stores, an ointment, and it involves slathering it all over your face as a big seal, like a thick mask, and going to bed. And the idea was you would go to bed with this thick mask of Vaseline, petroleum jelly on your face, and you would wake up the next day with this totally moist, juicy, goddess-like skin, and you would just look like the young version of yourself, and it would just be wonderful and magic. And yeah, so that's what slugging is. And is it hype, or is it something that actually is proven? Well, there's some scientific, skincare science evidence backing that it does work, that it can be a sound skincare practice. It doesn't have to be something that you do every single night. It can be something that you can do particularly when you're feeling a little drier or dehydrated and you want to help seal in moisture. And I'll say about, I won't say 90%, but I'll say probably about 80% of people can slug and experience good results. The only people I would discourage against slugging would be if you had excessively oily skin or if you were suffering from acne and you found that really thick, heavy, greasy ingredients make your acne worse. Not everyone with acne or oily skin are affected by Vaseline in a negative way. So that's what slugging is. And that's just my out of the gate recommendation, that a lot of people can do it. A few can't, but it's pretty harmless. So let's talk about what we should use when we slug. So the thing that started the trend was really putting the Vaseline on your face. And that's what started the trend, because I guess they called it slugging because you know how when a slug or a snail, when they inch around on the sidewalk, they leave that trail of slime, whatever it is, right? So that's the idea, is that you're kind of greasy, you're kind of slimy, you're slathering an ointment type skincare product all over your face. And is that safe? Well, a lot of the people that are proponents of slugging say it's great because you're using a really awesome product like Vaseline that's relatively inexpensive and it's easy to find, it's easy to purchase, you know, it's not cost prohibitive, it's like simple, it's easy, it's great, you slap it on, it works, right? Which I actually 100% wholeheartedly agree with. But there are a lot of people out in the beauty community that I believe use fear-mongering techniques, especially when they talk about products like Vaseline and Aquaphor that contain white petroleum, or ingredients like mineral oil, for example. And the reason that they are very anti when they speak about those ingredients is because those ingredients technically are derived from petrochemicals. And there's tons of people in the green beauty community that are against things like petrochemicals, petroleum, mineral oil in cosmetics and cosmetic skincare products, because they say that it's toxic, it's not good for the skin, it suffocates the skin, and cancer causing. There's so many terms and things that are bandied about when people are talking about mineral oil and petroleum in particular. Well, in all actuality, when you look at the facts, when you look at the published scientific literature on those ingredients, you'll find that they are extremely gentle and extremely well researched and studied for over 100 years. Mineral oil and petroleum, its use in cosmetics it's been something that so many people can use without incidents. It doesn't irritate. It is extremely safe. For example, the American Academy of Dermatology has publicly come out and said that this is a non-irritating ingredient. This is the type of ingredient that is actually a benchmark that they test other ingredients against to see how irritating or how potentially irritating those ingredients will be. Vaseline petroleum is something that they've said that you could put on a baby's bum or someone that has eczema and they're not going to experience reactions. And in many incidences, sorry, I'm having a time today. In many instances, it will actually heal and help the skin that is irritated. So actually, it's a very, very safe ingredient. Again, it's been in cosmetic preparations in our country and in, the UK and Canada, Mexico, all around the world for over 100 years. It's tested, it's safe, and actually the refinement that mineral oil and petroleum have to go through to remove the impurities that are in petrochemicals, that refinement process that those ingredients have to go through, it's crazy. So there is no way that you're going to be putting like crude oil on your face and suffering all the toxicity of an ingredient like that. Those ingredients in cosmetics are refined to a point that they are so pure and so refined that there is no way that they can irritate or be toxic to the skin. So I throw that out there because I just want to dispense with that right at the onset, right out of the gate. Now, there are still a lot of people that they don't feel that they want to put an ingredient like petroleum or mineral oil all over their face because for whatever reason, whether they feel it's toxic or whether they feel it's just maybe not a cosmetically elegant ingredient, that there are so many better things out there, like say, for example, natural skincare oils, almond oil, jojoba, argan oil, what have you. That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly acceptable if that's the route you choose to to go on, and more power to you. I'm just here telling you that if you've heard about slugging before and thought you wanted to try it, or even if you're tuning into this episode now and you're dry and you're dehydrated and you're wanting to do something that can maybe up your skincare game and add more moisture and, vitality back into your skin so that it won't be so dry and flaky, and you're like, hey, I want to try this, and hey, Vaseline, that's inexpensive. Hey, Aquaphor, I could buy a tub of that for, $8 and try this. Go for it. Your skin is not going to be irritated. It's not going to suffer. Again, people with eczema use Aquaphor, use Vaseline. My daughter, my son, they have super, super sensitive, easily irritated skin. Like my daughter will get irritated skin from washing her hands more than 2 or 3 times a day. And I've experimented with so many different types of soaps and different things for her. But I mean, obviously, we have to wash our hands several times throughout the day to maintain good health. But she, for example, just the simple act of washing her hands can make them red and scaly and irritated. I'll smother some Vaseline or Aquaphor on her, and that's one of the only things that can give her relief. So point being, I know I'm being a little long-winded here, but point being, Vaseline, Aquaphor, 100% safe, 100%, I don't want to say inexpensive because nothing's completely inexpensive anymore, but not as cost prohibitive as, say, some of these other things that are out there in the way of natural beauty oils. And I think a lot of the skincare companies and social media influencers and different people that are out talking about certain products, sponsored things, they'll speak against things that are relatively inexpensive, like say a Vaseline or an Aquaphor, as a great moisturizing ingredient, because they're peddling something that is, say, a $50 bottle of facial oil that's natural, and they want you to use that instead. But that's just basically why I'm telling you that. So for slugging, what do you want to do? Well, you want to ascertain what's going on with your skin. So if you are indeed experiencing a dry skin type, especially in the winter, so say you have dry skin and it's even more dry and irritated and flaky in the winter, or even if you're, say, oily and you're a little bit dehydrated, where, as we've talked about in the past, you can be oily and dehydrated at the same time, because remember, one has to do with a skin type, dry skin or oily skin, and another thing has to do with dehydration, which is a skin condition. So anyway, so if you have drier or dehydrated skin and you're looking for something else to try to fix that problem, that's where something like slugging can come in. So what you want to do is, remember, cleansing gently. You're not stripping the skin when you cleanse. You're not using harsh washcloths and, buff puffs and facial rotating brushes and harsh washcloths and things like that. You're being very, very gentle with your skin, especially if you're dry, dehydrated. Then remember, you're using a really nice hydrating serum that is to bring the water, the moisture content back into your skin. And then what you're doing is you're sealing with a moisturizing cream, a hydrating cream. So that's what we've talked about in past episodes, getting a super, super simple skincare routine in place that is helping to feed water into your skin and then also helping to maintain that water. We talked about hydration. Hydration has to do with water content in the skin, and moisturization has to do with sealing that water in the skin with a more occlusive product that contains oil. Heavier, thick moisturizing creams that help maintain the water levels in our skin, they are called occlusive, meaning that they seal in that water. And they usually do it with the presence of oils in the formulation. And what we're wanting to do is prevent what's called transepidermal water loss, or TEWL. You might have seen somebody talk about it on social media or on YouTube and wondered, what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about the rate that our skin loses water. And when our skin loses a lot of water, that's when we can look a little more dry and flaky and shriveled. So remember, you're sealing it in with a good moisturizer that's got a little bit of oil in it to prevent TEWL, which is the transepidermal water loss. So I hope I haven't lost anybody here. So you're doing all of that, right? You're treating your skin gently. You're adding moisture. You're trying to preserve the moisture. But sometimes it's not enough, especially when we go into harsh conditions like a really dry, cold winter. and we're inside a lot more, and the moisture levels in our homes are going down because we're always, say, running the heat, whether it's central heating or little space heaters that we run because we're freezing. If you are running central heat, if you have heating in your homes, it's drier outside, all these things are actually just working against us in the way of leaching the moisture out of our skin. So sometimes the serum and the thicker night moisturizing cream at night before we go to bed isn't enough. Sometimes you can wake up and still feel a little bit parched. That's where slugging comes in. So to effectively slug is you are going to perform your basic, simple skincare routine and then get yourself your Aquaphor or Vaseline type product or something equivalent that's like a natural ointment. If you're totally anti when it comes to Vaseline, perform your nighttime skincare routine, wait a few minutes, and then at the very end, as your final step, you're going to want to take about anywhere from a pea-sized amount to a nickel-sized amount of that occlusive, let's just say Vaseline, all over your face, all over your neck. You can even take it to your chest, back of your hands a little bit. I wouldn't say, smear it all over the chest because you'll probably get your night clothes really mucky. But face, neck, nice thick layer, and let that soak in. And then if it's a bit much and you're feeling like, okay, I'm looking a little bit too like a glazed donut or Crisco-y faced here, you can blot a little bit off. That's totally fine. You don't want to have so much that if you put your face down on your pillow, it would just be a huge mess. But I always recommend that if you're going to slug with something like Aquaphor or Vaseline at night, definitely just lay an old pillowcase that you don't care about on your pillow, maybe double them up one on top of the other, or just take a towel and just put it on top of your pillow so that you're protecting your pillowcases and your sheets and things like that. That's basically what it is. At the end of your skincare routine at night, you're just going to put that layer of Vaseline or Aquaphor all over your face. Remember, not too much, don't go too crazy, and then you go to sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, you are going to find that your skin is going to look, a lot of people talk about how it looks really, really bright, and you'll feel a lot more hydrated and a lot softer. Now, if you are very, very dry, like flaky type dry, I would say that slugging is something that you can definitely do, and I would encourage it. But if you're dry to the point of being flaky, you may be in the need of proper exfoliation. Now, in episode 8, I talk about skincare acids and their role in skincare, especially as we get older, because as we get older, the rate that our skin cells shed is dramatically slowed down. When we're younger, say in our 20s, the rate that our skin cells shed, it's about a 28-day cycle. But by the time you reach your 60s and 70s, sometimes that can get almost up to about 60 to 70 days. So when our skin cells aren't shedding as quickly, our skin can look really dull, dry, and even flaky. So if you are super flaky and you try to slug, you might not have the best experience, because what you're going to need to do is either get yourself into a good acid regime where once or twice a week you're using the proper exfoliation method to get that dull, dry skin off, but then you'll find that your skin will start hydrating itself with proper use of acids, and then you could start slugging in order to preserve that moisture. If, for example, your skin is flaky because it's just irritated, then what I would recommend is using a very, very gentle washcloth to just try to remove some of those excess flakes. Then go in with your hydrator serum, then go in with your moisturizer, let those sink in. And then right before you go to bed, you can definitely apply your ointment, your Vaseline, and slug that way. But remember, you don't want to slug on top of, very, very red, inflamed, or flaky skin, just because sometimes if you are red and inflamed, you might feel a little bit hot or a burning sensation. Now, that doesn't happen often, but I do want to let you know that sometimes if your skin is in an active state of irritation, you might not want to slug until you can get it under control, whether it's with a good acid exfoliator or basically using a super gentle washcloth to remove those flakes for a couple of days, let your skin kind of calm down, and then go ahead and start slugging. I get asked if I'm an oily skin, can I slug? You can definitely slug if you're an oilier skin type. I would just recommend don't use as much Vaseline as someone who has a drier skin type would. If you are oily, you will be surprised with how a little bit of oil can actually calm your skin's oil production. So if you're oily, again, if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that skincare should be simple. Skincare should not be something that is rocket science. You can follow a lot of the basics that drier skinned people do. It's all about cleansing gently and preserving your skin's natural moisturization factor, preserving the lipids in your skin, the triglycerides in your skin. You don't want to rip up your skin barrier, whether you're dry or whether you're oily. So in both instances, it comes down to treating your skin gently. And I also have talked about how if you're constantly over cleansing because you're oil phobic, you'll find that that doesn't really work either, because all that ends up happening is that your skin tends to overproduce oil. So can you slug if you're a little bit oily? Yes, you can, because even if you are following the perfect skincare regimen to a T, you are still going to overproduce oil than, say, a drier skin person would. And that's just because that's your skin type. That's your skin's genetics. But a little bit of extra oil and hydration will go a long way in calming that oil production. So if you're oily, you can definitely slug. You probably don't have to do it as often as a dry skin person. And again, just use less of your ointment on top of your skincare at night. I definitely wouldn't recommend, as an oilier skin person, doing it in the summertime, but once or twice a week, if you're feeling a little bit dehydrated, absolutely go for it. The only people that I say proceed with caution with slugging is if you are experiencing an active acne breakout, where if you are not quite sure if it's going to be a bit much for your skin. So I would say patch test. Now, a lot of people find that if they do have an active acne breakout and they slug and they do it just a few times a week, very, very light layer of that ointment on top of a good hydrating and calming serum, that goes a very long way in calming their skin down. There's a reason why slugging can calm that skin down, because it's helping to seal and repair the skin barrier. Acne is a combination of so many different factors going on. It's excessive oil production, it's skin that is not shedding effectively, getting caught and trapped in the pore and plugging it up, mixing with bacteria. Those things happen when the skin barrier is compromised. So the more steps you take to hydrate and calm your skin and seal in and protect and maintain that barrier, you're going to find that the acne is going to calm down. But again, there isn't a 100% solution for everybody. A lot of estheticians and dermatologists think that slugging is perfectly safe for all skin types, and in some instances can heal or help to heal acneic skins. Absolutely. But are there going to be people that are going to react to it and their skin isn't going to like it? Absolutely. So the only way that you're going to know if you're oily and or if you have acne is just patch test. Do a smaller area, test it out, see what happens. You might find that it will calm and just abate a lot of those angry red inflamed pimples that you may be experiencing. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that I cleared up a lot of the things about slugging. What are some of the best things you can use, and who should try it, and how often they should be doing it? If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I don't know if you're aware, but in every episode that I put out, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I have show notes for every episode where I go into detail about all the different ways that I can help you understand your skin and help you on your skincare journey. So if you ever had a question or a topic that you want me to specifically cover on the show, let me know, because I am saving and accumulating a lot of these questions. So if you have a specific question you want me to address, don't hesitate. You can shoot me a message on social media, but I'm not really on social media a whole heck of the time. I'm really on there just to really just promote my episodes for my YouTube channel and for my podcast. But the better way to reach me is to check out the link in the show notes. That is the contact form. I read my email every single day. So if you send me a question via email, I will get it, and I definitely will read it. And if you're loving the show and you love everything we're talking about and you're vibing with me because you find that I'm so different from so many of the social media influencers out there, so many of the beauty YouTube channels, in that I'm all about simplicity. I don't like talking about skincare and making it more difficult for somebody. I don't want to constantly be talking about products and product reviews, because I find women kind of get sucked into that, and then they start getting into the mind frame where it's, I have to buy this, I have to buy that. So many new things are coming out. I have to buy them. I have to try them, because there's this fear of missing out. There's this fear of, I have to buy these new things because what I'm doing isn't good enough, or there's something missing that there's a miracle product out there that is going to give me the skin that I dream about. When in all actuality, the simpler that you make your routine, the better off you are going to be. So if you like the show and you're vibing with everything that I teach, I have a skincare video masterclass. It's called Nude Skin, and it's 5+ hours of video, me talking about everything skincare, literally everything you would want to know about how to get, keep, and maintain beautiful skin, no matter what your age, but specifically as you get older. My techniques and the things that I talk about are things that are very simple and very easily accessible. I want women informed, because I really do feel like the more you know about how your skin works, the better equipped you are to make better choices when you're buying stuff, when you're using stuff, or just knowing when not to buy something, when to know when something is hype. There's so many new products coming out all the time, and I guarantee you it's very, very rare that a skincare company or product reinvents the wheel and it's just so unbelievably life-changing. Usually that's not the case. Now, there are wonderful things out there and they're proven, but a lot of the hype out there, they're not talking about what's proven, what is known to actually work. They're trying to hype things like 10-step skincare routines, or like this new snail mucus serum that's supposedly life-changing, where in all actuality, it's just the more you know simply about how your skin works, the better equipped you are to make a better regime, and your skin's going to look really great, and you're going to know what to buy, what not to buy, what ingredients to look for, and you're going to actually find that you're spending less money, but your skin is looking better and better. So it's 5+ hours of videos all about a gentle, simple, clear, non-urgent, non-hyped approach to skincare. The concept of minimalism has literally exploded over the last 10 years, and that was really my inspiration for wanting to create this program. I wanted something simple, something that the average woman could listen to and watch and feel like, this is doable and this is promising, and I don't have to crazy amounts of money to look beautiful. I don't have to jump on every skincare bandwagon or every, TikTok skincare trend. I know what works. I know what ingredients to look for. I know how to walk into a Sephora or a Target or a Walmart or an Ulta and not be swayed by a pretty label. I know what is hype and what is real. So if you want to step away from all of the TikTok and Instagram videos and all of the YouTube videos out there talking about products and reviews, and you just kind of want to get back to basics and kind of almost start fresh and feel like, okay, clean slate, set a simple, elegant, and minimal benchmark for ourselves, and then just go from there. And Nude Skin, I designed it to save you thousands of dollars into the future. stop you from buying unnecessary products that you just don't need. And a lot of the things I talk about in the masterclass are things you can do that actually don't even cost anything. I go extensively into things that you're probably doing on a daily basis that are harming your skin that you should just stop. The main goal was to save in the future on wasted beauty purchases, things that are pretty and they're hype and the packaging is beautiful, but in the end, do you really need it? Or does it have a lot of, garbage ingredients that really aren't going to do anything anyway? You're going to know. You're going to know. So check that out. The link to that is in my episode notes or the video description, depending on where you're watching. So it's all about getting back to basics. It's all about taking the fear out of growing older. Our skin can actually look a lot better as we age. I don't know about you, but when I hit my 40s, I found that I thought my skin looked even better than it did in my 20s. And the reason why I think it looks better now in my late 40s than even it did in my 20s is because I know what works for my skin and I treat it so unbelievably gently, so much more gently than I used to. And I don't have this false sense of urgency to try every single new hyped skincare product that comes out with a pretty label and pretty packaging and all the promises. But in the end, it's just really nothing more than a bunch of mediocre or even garbage ingredients, a bunch of fragrance that irritates my skin. I know I don't need all that. I know what's tried. I know what's true. And the less that I use and the gentler I treat my skin, the better it looks. So right now at 49, my skin looks a heck of a lot better than it did when I was 29. So if that sounds appealing to you and you want to get smarter about your skin, definitely check out Nude Skin. It was over a year in the making and over 5 hours of material. And it's not just videos, it's so much more. It's spreadsheets, it's shopping links, it's downloadables, it's cheat sheets, it's everything. So definitely go check it out. I made it just for you. I send you love. I send you blessings. May the Lord in heaven look down on you and shine his grace on you. Hope you have a wonderful week coming up. I am going to say a prayer for everybody watching or listening this episode. Know that you are in my thoughts. I pray for everybody here on a daily basis. I hope that these episodes are enriching your life. I hope that they are giving you a little bit of a pause in the way that you think about treating your skin, about the way that you treat yourself in your self-care journey. We don't want to buy into hype of the beauty industry that tells us that we have to spend so much money, look a certain way. Nope. We just need to calm down and just be kind and gentle with ourselves the way the Lord is with us. I love you all. I'll see you very soon. Bye.